Vote for us because the other guy is worse.
For the lesser of two evils.
The lesser of two evils, right?
Lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils.
Are we actually witnessing an enlightenment moment from the people on the left?
Do you feel that constantly voting for the lesser of two evils?
Constantly voting for the lesser of two evils.
Election after election is gonna get Democratic voters to where they wanna be in this country.
And listen to what this guy says.
At some point, people got to get tired of choosing between the lesser of two evils, right?
And back to you, Kasparian.
Every election cycle, I've caved into that framing, lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils. At this point, it's the only rallying cry that the Democratic Party has. Vote for us because the other guy is worse.
Welcome to the Disturbing Illusion channel. This is our first video ever, and all I want to say is, this is the most important and significant election of our lifetime. You need to get out and vote. Just kidding. One of the most corrupting things a man can do to himself is throw his moral compass out the window and jump into the sewer of politics. So we're here to expose the horse pucky on the left and the right. Or is that elephant and donkey pucky? Let's face it, if we were to sum up politics, it would sound a lot like this. If we give our champion enough money and enough power, we can get him 4 years in the White House where I'm sure he'll never squander that money or abuse that power. He'll save us and make our lives better. But whatever you do, don't vote for the other guy because he's bad. Vote for my guy. He's kind of good. I mean, he's the best. I know it's all a fable, but grown adults continue to believe it and support it and participate in it. I mean, come on, people. You all know it's nonsense. We even call it voting for the lesser of two evils. I mean, seriously, team red or team blue, elephants, donkeys, you actually fell for that? And yet, because we live in a society that's been so thoroughly propagandized into believing that you can still keep your moral compass while cultishly following a dishonest, corrupt political leader who's totally not going to waste our money and do all sorts of bad stuff, well, people continue to play the political charade. On this channel, we're going to expose the hypocrisy, idiocracy, and anti-American garbage on the left, right, and center. Why? Because we don't have a dog in the fight of the illusory world of political demoralization. And politics is nothing if not demoralizing. Now, in regard to the idea of the lesser of two evils, seriously, ask yourself, what kind of person do you have to be to let go of your principles and support one of the two cruddiest people on the entire planet? Now check out this revealing dialogue between Leonard McKelvey, who's also known as Charlamagne the God, and Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks.
Charlamagne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Peace. How are y'all?
We're doing well. We're doing well. So
I look big on that screen.
Lean back. There you go.
There we go. So Charlamagne, you just put out a new book and I read it in a day. I thought it was fantastic. Get Honest or Die Lying.
Just remember the title of this book because the irony is going to set in shortly.
I love the message that you have in that book. And so with that said, I want to embrace some discourse right now by starting off with a question about something that stood out to me on The View when you made an appearance on the show. So I want to go to this video. It's an exchange between you and Sunny Hostin, and then I'll ask my question. Take a look.
You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time around you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlamagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Like, you know, when
but
you
why not endorse?
Keep this in mind too. He likes to focus on issues, not individuals. We're gonna see about that.
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you know, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, you know, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, you know, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only two candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, The choice is clear, right?
In other words, I'm not directly endorsing Biden, but I will tell you how bad the other guy is and take the back door and endorse Biden without endorsing Biden. It's almost like they're trying to pretend like they're not supporting and participating in evil while they're supporting and participating in evil.
So you're clearly unhappy with the Biden administration, considering the fact that you're kind of making this distinction between, doing an endorsement as you did in 2020 versus what you're planning on doing this time around. You're not endorsing Biden, but clearly you're going to vote for Biden. Do you feel that constantly voting for the lesser of two evils, election after election, is gonna get Democratic voters to where they wanna be in this country with a party that actually represents their best interests as opposed to the best interests of, lobbyists, corporations, a foreign government like Israel, which the Biden administration very clearly seems to prioritize over the best interests of his own constituents? I'm curious if you think your tactic here is going to yield positive results.
Boom, there's the admission. They know they do it. They support evil in election after election, and modifying the word evil with the word lesser doesn't make it less evil. But listen to Leonard's nonsensical response.
Well, I want to say in 2020, I didn't endorse President Biden either. In 2020, I was on record saying that I am, voting for this administration because of, his vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris. Like I said that in 2020. So I don't even know where the rhetoric came from that, I'm endorsing, President Biden.
So the guy who told The View that he likes to focus on issues, not individuals.
But what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals.
Voted for the Biden administration because of the individual Kamala Harris.
Because of, his vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris.
That is hypocrisy 101, folks.
And, you use some language just now that I think is so interesting. And when you see statistics like, 1 in 4 Americans have unfavorable views of, both Trump and Biden, or when you hear my man Tim Ryan, talk about the exhausted majority, how people are just tired of politics. At some point, people got to get tired of choosing between the lesser of two evils, right? Like, I wonder when we even say that, do we even understand what we're saying? Like, if you walked in a room and somebody put two evils on the table, I want you to think of the most evilest things you can possibly think of. And they put them on the table and said, hey, you have to choose between one of these two things. Wouldn't that be a very difficult choice for anybody? Would that be something that you would want to tell people? Oh man, well, since I got to choose the lesser one, I guess I will endorse this one. It's like we use this language that's kind of like it's discouraging.
Discouraging or enlightening and very telling. Wait a second. Somebody puts two of the most evil evils on the table, and they tell you got to choose one of them? That's a false choice, Leonard. And that basically sums up the false political illusion of choice. Because when you really look at the issues and you look at the people who are involved, they're both evil. So when you vote for one evil, you're voting for all the evil. Besides that, what if a president is just a figurehead, like a controlled CEO? What if he's a smokescreen? What if there's something else going on behind the curtain? What if there are other people who are actually pulling the strings and calling the shots? That couldn't be. No way. It seems to me that if a man has a moral compass, he just doesn't choose evil. No matter how many campaign signs they buy, no matter how clever their strategy is, or how good they make their guy look. The art of the false choice is exactly what the two-party uniparty system is. It's what it's all about. It's there to demoralize you into choosing evil for yourself and for others.
It's very discouraging, to the American people. And that's why I say I would rather talk about issues than individuals, especially in an election like this. When in an election like this, where neither one of the candidates are people that folks really truly enjoy. Well, I'm not gonna say that because they definitely have their bases, but people like me can't really get into. I would rather just talk about the issues as opposed to talking about the individuals.
Yeah, I just want to respond to that because, for every election cycle, I've caved into that framing, lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils. At this point, it's the only rallying cry that the Democratic Party has. Vote for us because the other guy is worse. It's been election cycle after election cycle, the same nonsense. And this time around, I'm not going for it. I'm not gonna fall for it.
And I've just heard the rhetoric, right? The rhetoric is always the Republican candidate is going to end democracy. The Republican candidate doesn't care about democracy. It's just like, damn, y'all been using the same language for all these different presidential Republican candidates to the point where you actually now have a real threat to democracy out there. And you're kind of like the party who cried wolf. And it's like you can't even get, you can't even get the sense of urgency up in America because people are like, oh, I heard that before. You told me that about the last guy.
These people are just saying what we all already know to be true. It's all a lie. They want to distract us, deceive us, demoralize us, and divide us. Politics is now and has always been just the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people like you and me into accepting and even demanding the chains of our own enslavement. So really, when it all comes down to it, even though they know it's all evil, whatever or whoever the Democrat Party puts into the ring, that's who they're going to vote for because they got to beat the other guy. We all just need to admit that the entire system from top to bottom is corrupt and the only choices they offer us are evil and evil. Don't you think there's a better way? Can't we do better than a corporately controlled two-party system that gets its steam from mainstream media? I want to hear your comments below. On this channel, we're going to go hard on the left and the right. Truth will never, ever fear scrutiny. We need to come to some solid conclusions, get some unity based on truth, and change the course of this country. Leave your thoughts about this in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know.